February 21st, 2025, Dubai, UAE. The cryptocurrency exchange ByBit is facing a catastrophe. A record-breaking sum, 401,000 Ethereum, worth $1.5 billion, has just been stolen from one of its cold offline wallets. This is the biggest hack in the history of crypto exchanges. Within minutes, the cryptocurrency vanishes almost without a trace, triggering panic among users and investors. Security experts immediately try to freeze the transaction, but it's futile. The hackers have already funneled the funds through dozens of other wallets using decentralized platforms. But who is behind this? How did they manage to breach one of the most secure crypto exchanges? And will ByBit be able to recover the stolen funds? ByBit is one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, serving over 60 million users. Known for its fast transactions, high liquidity, and strict security measures, it was considered a trusted platform, even in the risky world of crypto. But even giants are not immune to attacks. Months before the breach, a group of hackers began their preparations. Their weapon of choice, social engineering. Instead of breaking into servers or executing complex technical exploits, they manipulated people. Using fake emails and phishing attacks, they gradually infiltrated ByBit's internal system, gaining access to key employees. Next, the hackers carefully analyzed the exchange's security protocols. Their goal was to find a way to process transactions without triggering red flags. The key to their success was a forged safe interface, an imitation of ByBit's internal transaction verification system. SAFE is the exchange's authentication tool for approving large transfers. The hackers created an identical replica and tricked ByBit employees into unknowingly entering their credentials. This gave the hackers direct control over the transaction approval process. They didn't just trick the system into accepting fraudulent requests. They made ByBit employees approve the transfers themselves without realizing it. With all the groundwork complete, they moved on to the final phase of their operation. After studying the system, they discovered that every 2 to 3 weeks, large sums were transferred from cold wallets to the exchange. For security reasons, these transactions required multi-signature approval from 3 company officials. ByBit had followed this protocol for years. The hackers identified the specific employees responsible for these approvals and targeted them. Their goal was to manipulate the interface so that when approving a transaction, the employees wouldn't suspect they were actually transferring funds to the hacker's wallet. On February 21st, a scheduled transfer of 30,000 Ethereum was set to be approved. The verification request first appeared on 2 employees' screens. Everything looked normal, the usual interface, the correct recipient address, but in reality, the interface was fake. Neither employee noticed anything suspicious and approved the transaction. The final signature was required from ByBit's CEO, Ben Zhou. The heist could have been prevented had Zhou carefully verified the transaction details on his ledger, an external crypto wallet. The ledger screen always displays the true recipient address before final confirmation. Had Zhou meticulously compared the address on his ledger with the one shown on the compromised interface, he would have spotted the discrepancy, but events took a different turn. Once the hackers secured all 3 approvals, they launched a mass withdrawal of Ethereum. Instead of the planned 30,000 Ethereum, they siphoned out 401,000, worth approximately $1.5 billion. The withdrawal happened in stages, but hackers moved with precision and speed. They knew the exchange had only a few hours to detect the attack. The stolen funds immediately began moving across the blockchain. First, they were transferred to a primary wallet, then quickly split into smaller amounts and distributed across 40 additional wallets. The money was then further divided into hundreds and thousands of transactions via cryptocurrency mixers and decentralized exchanges. This multi-layered laundering process made tracking nearly impossible. ByBit's leadership ordered an immediate shutdown of its main wallets, managing to freeze only a small fraction of the stolen funds. But it was already too late. The hackers had successfully pulled off the largest cryptocurrency heist in history, stealing $1.5 billion. ByBit promptly launched an internal investigation. Security engineers scrambled to determine how the hackers had bypassed all layers of protection. But the answer was clear. The hackers never broke into the servers. They simply manipulated ByBit employees into approving the transfers themselves. The company's immediate response was critical. Any delay or uncertainty could spark panic among investors and users. Ben Zhou issued an urgent statement promising to cover customer losses using ByBit's reserve funds, which held $20 billion in assets.
I want to guarantee that ByBit is one-to-one pegged, meaning that we do a monthly proof of reserve, audited proof of reserve, meaning that all of the money is in the wallet, meaning that if even today, all of the ByBit client withdraw, we can give your withdrawals. With regard to the backed amount, which is around 400,000 ETH, even the ByBit treasury, we can cover that.
While the exchange had enough capital to avoid financial collapse, the breach dealt a severe blow to its reputation. Zhou assured that ByBit would implement new security measures and tighten control over fund withdrawals. Despite these reassurances, the exchange suffered massive financial losses. Even for a crypto giant, $1.5 billion was a staggering amount. Investors grew anxious about ByBit's stability, and users rushed to withdraw funds, fearing further attacks. However, the exchange did not halt or restrict customer transactions. An international investigation was launched immediately. The FBI, Europol, and other law enforcement agencies quickly got involved, working with blockchain analytics firms to trace the stolen funds. Within 48 hours, they identified the perpetrators, Lazarus Group. Both technical evidence and the hacking methods used pointed to them. Lazarus is a notorious hacker group linked to the North Korean government. Over the past decade, they have repeatedly targeted financial institutions, crypto exchanges, and even central banks, stealing billions to fund the North Korean regime. Their attacks are known for meticulous planning, social engineering tactics, and sophisticated money laundering operations. The hackers acted swiftly. Within hours of the breach, they funneled the funds through mixers like Tornado Cash and decentralized exchanges, making it nearly impossible to track. They split the stolen assets into hundreds of smaller transactions, sent funds to various anonymous wallets, and used services designed to obscure transaction history. Once laundered, they converted the money into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies via decentralized platforms, avoiding strict verification procedures. At this point, the FBI and blockchain firms had enough evidence to publicly accuse Lazarus of orchestrating the attack. Authorities issued an official warning to crypto companies, stating that anyone interacting with the stolen funds risked sanctions. The US government urged exchanges and financial platforms to block any suspicious assets linked to the hack, emphasizing that such cybercrimes directly fund North Korea's nuclear weapons program and efforts to evade sanctions. ByBit, meanwhile, focused on damage control and recovering the stolen funds. They announced a 10% bounty for anyone who could help trace the missing assets. They also launched a website, Lazarus Bounty, where they provided live updates on the investigation. Despite these efforts, the chances of recovering the money remain slim. So far, only 3% of the stolen funds had been retrieved. ByBit also rolled out extensive security upgrades, including mandatory multi-factor authentication for all employees, stricter withdrawal controls, and new algorithms to detect abnormal activity. The exchange partnered with governments and blockchain firms to strengthen security measures across the crypto industry. But none of this could change one undeniable fact. $1.5 billion had vanished. To maintain its market position and avoid liquidating other crypto holdings, ByBit secured an Ethereum loan from other exchanges. This move stabilized the market, preventing drastic price fluctuations. While global investigators work to trace the stolen funds, Lazarus remains active. The stolen billions may have already been funneled into North Korea's nuclear weapons program and sanctions evasion schemes. So, can the crypto industry adapt and stop the next wave of cybercrime? Or is this just the beginning of even bigger attacks? I make videos myself, and it's quite a labor-consuming and expensive process. So, your best gratitude would be a like and a subscription. Thank you.